All right, this is fraction review part 2. This was the last problem that we stopped on. So let's take a look at it. It says that Ben had 2 boxes of blocks. Each box had 100 blocks. He built a tower with 1/5 of the blocks out of each of the boxes. How many blocks did Ben use to build the tower? So again, I hope you've at least read it one more time. So let's start making a visual model to help us see what's going on. So let's, first of all, let's draw the 2 boxes of blocks that he had. Okay. And it doesn't have to be pretty. That's 1 box and 2 boxes. So we've got the 2 boxes of blocks. Now in each of those boxes there were 100 blocks. And I'm just going to put BLK. Okay, and another 100 blocks here also. Okay, so 100 blocks in each. We've got that. He said now he built his tower, so he's building a large tower with 1/5 of the blocks out of each of the boxes. Okay, so he used 1/5 out of that box, and he used 1/5 out of that box. Of course, if he used 5/5, he would be using all of them. So we know he's only using 1/5. So as we think about this, 1/5, is that more than half, less than half? Well, we know it's less than half because 2.5 is half of 5, and 1 is certainly not half of 5, so it's a lot less than half of 5. So we know that the amount, he's going to use less than half of the blocks out of each of these boxes. Well, again, we're finding a fractional amount, and this amount is 100. So we're trying to find what's 1/5 of 100. If you're finding the fractional amount of anything, our our fraction tells us everything we need to do. In the fraction 1/5, 5 is our denominator, which means that's how many equal parts or groups we need to make out of the whole. So our whole box is 100, so we're going to need to make 5 equal groups of those blocks, 100 blocks. So there's the same amount in each group. So here's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal groups. Now I do have to decide how many would go in each group. So we would take 100 and divide it by 5. So 100 divided by 5 is 20. So we would put 20 in each of these groups. Just to check to make sure I have 100 blocks here, 20 blocks, 40, 60, 80, 100. So I have my 5 equal groups. So now I can focus on how many of those groups did he use out of that box. And of course this is 1 here, so I know my focus is that's how many blocks he used out of 1 box. So this is for 1 box, but we must go back and let's underline our question, make sure we answer. It says how many blocks Ben used to build the tower? Well, he built the tower with 1/5 of the blocks out of each of the boxes, not just 1 box. So this was the 20 was the amount out of this box. So for this box, it's the same fractional amount. So that would be 20 out of this box also. So he had 20 out of this box and 20 out of this box. So together, 20 plus 20 equals 40. So he used 40 blocks to build his tower. All right, moving on to the next question. It says Kim had 120 cards in a box. She gave 6/10 of the cards to Maddie. How many cards did Kim have left in the box? Kim had 120 cards in a box. She gave 6/10 of the cards to Maddie. how many cards did Kim have left in the box? So we're focusing on how many cards were left in the box. Now let's take, again, we're talking about a box again, so this shouldn't be hard to draw. And in this box, there were 120 cards. Okay. It says that she gave 6/10 of the cards away. Well, she would have to give 10/10 to give all the cards away. So let's get an idea about how much 6/10 is. Is it more or less than half? Well, we know 5/10 is equal to a half. So therefore, 6/10 is just a little more than half. So, so therefore, we know that half of those cards would be 60. So we know that she gave a little more. She gave more than 60 cards to Maddie. Right? So let's find out what that is. So we're going to find 6/10 of our 120 cards. Okay. Again, our denominator tells us how many equal groups that we need to put our whole amount in. So in this case, while we've got 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I take my 120 cards and split them into 10 equal groups, I will end up with 12 in each group. All right, so now I've got my number of cards in my 10 equal groups. And remember, our numerator tells us how many of those groups, in this case, that she gave away. Okay, because it says she gave 6/10. So 6 out of the 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the amount that she gave away. Okay, so we know if we know our multiplication combinations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups of 12. 6 groups of 12 is 72. So she gave 72 of her cards away. The question is, how many cards did Kim have left in the box? Well, if she started, again, this was what was given away. So therefore, this must be what was still in the box. This is one of the common mistakes when we don't focus on what is it that we're trying to find. In this case, what was left in the box. They told us how many was given away. So what was not given away, what was is what's left in the box. In this case, 4 12s is 48. 48 cards were left in the box. Okay. Right. Next one. Julie used 12 3/4 gallons of water on her garden on Monday. She used 15 1/4 gallons of water on Tuesday. What is the total amount of water Julie used to water her garden on Monday and Tuesday? All right. Again, we want the total amount of water for Monday and Tuesday. Okay. So here, we are going to try to find the total amount of combined for Monday and Tuesday. So therefore, we would need to add our two mixed numbers. So 12 3/4 plus 15 1/4. Okay. Okay. One strategy is to add our whole numbers. So 15 and 12 is 27. Okay. And then our fractional amounts, 3/4 and 1/4 equals 4/4. Okay, so I don't see 27 and 4/4. However, I know that 4/4 is equal to another whole. So therefore, if we combine our 27 wholes and our 1 whole from our fractional amount, we would end up with an even 28 gallons of water. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next one. At the supermarket, Jalen bought 3 kinds of meat. He purchased a 1/4 pound of roast beef, 3/4 pound of ham, and 3/4 pound of turkey. Which choice best describes the total weight of the meats? So again, we're trying to find the total weights. So we would need to add our roast beef, which is 1/4 of a pound, plus our ham, which is 3/4 of a pound, plus our turkey, which is our other meat. Okay, so again, we're talking about fourths. So our denominator will be fourths. And 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7/4. As we can see, that's in none of our choices here, so we should recognize that this is an improper fraction and that we should be able to make some wholes with that. So I know that 4/4 makes 1 whole. So if I use 4 of the 4s to make a whole, that would leave another 3/4, okay, left. So therefore, 4/4 is 1 whole, and then 3/4 remaining there. So again, I would look. I know that 1 and 3/4 is more than 1 and 1/2. So the best choice this amount would be between 1 and 1/2 and 2 pounds. What is the value of n in the equation below? Well, all right, so this is 4 times 3/4. So again, this would be, it's a multiplication, but we know that it's 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. There are my 4 groups of 3/4. So I'll end up with 4s, and of course 4 3s is 12. Okay, I do not see 12/4, so I need to be very careful and make sure that I convert this improper fraction to a whole number or mixed number. And I know if 4/4 makes 1 whole, then I can get 3 groups, 4/4 plus 4/4 plus 4/4. Okay, that does equal 12/4. So therefore, 1 whole, 2 wholes, 3 wholes. So 3 wholes would be my amount for 4 times 3/4. All right, Marcy asked what running the distance Alexis ran was farther than the distance Marcy ran. Marcy ran 5/8 of a mile, which could be the distance Alexis ran. Well, I know that 5/8 is more than a half, so C would not be a good choice. 3/8 is less than a half, so that would not be a good choice. 10/16 is equal to 5/8, so that would not be a good choice. And therefore, 2/3 is only 1/3 away from being a whole, and 5/8 is 3/8 from being from a whole. So 2/3 is closer to a whole, so therefore larger. Use the figure below. What is the difference in the length between the longest earthworm and the shortest earthworm? So the 7/8, and the difference is subtract. The shortest earthworm is 1/8 of an inch, and 7/8 minus 1/8 is 6/8, and that is in our list, so we don't have to find an equivalent fraction for it, and that is your answer. Review these, maybe even make up your own numbers with these questions, and you will do great on the fraction test. Good luck.